there are so many outlets to go because we have Belonging Week and because Kinkaid is so invested in making sure that everyone feels safe, because I think that's what belonging provides.
Welcome to The Perch, a Kinkaid podcast where we highlight authentic voices, expert insights, and meaningful conversation. The Perch brings Kinkaid's mission to life through stories of education, leadership, and community. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Perch. I'm Mike Maury, and this episode officially kicks off Season 1 of our podcast. Today, we'll be discussing what belonging means here at the Kinkaid School. If you follow us on social media, you may have noticed that we tag all our posts with the hashtag #WhereYouBelong. So let's unpack that a bit. Our guests today are Mujidat Shotonwa. Mujidat, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's great to be here.
We also have Nandipa Chery from Kinkaid's Class of 2028. Nandipa, very excited to have our first Falcon student on the Perch.
Yes, I'm honored. Thank you for having me.
So Mujidat, I read an article that states that a strong sense of belonging is crucial for teens' healthy development, promoting better mental and physical well-being, improved academic performance, and increased resilience to stress. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but hoping you could share a little bit about the importance of belonging to our students here at Kinkaid.
1,000%, yeah. So you mentioned teens, and I just wanted to, before getting into it a little bit, say that belonging is an inherent desire to be part of something greater than ourselves, right? And so the desire for belonging spans the entirety of our lives. So from our very youngest people to our very oldest people, or eldest people, I should say, belonging is important. It's invaluable to all of us. But since we are at a school, right, I will talk about our children a little bit, and I'll start with our youngest learners, for example. So as we think about school-age children, a sense of belonging absolutely promotes healthy mental and social development, which also positively impacts their performance at school. And actually, the research shows that children form their sense of identity and self-worth from as early as about 3 years old. And so, right, it seems early, but it makes me think of when I was a child. I was homeschooled until I was about 6 years old. So I started school at 6 and being very excited about it. My parents had me pumped up about meeting my classmates. And I went to a school where most of the kids looked like me, right? So I was like, this should be fine. It's going to be like just being around family. However, my name is different. It hadn't occurred to me that my teachers hadn't encountered a name like mine. When we were packing lunch for school, traditionally, I'm first generation American. My parents are immigrants from Nigeria. Traditionally, we ate food with our hands, right? And so I'm excited, first day of school, they're going to meet a Mujidat. I'm going to be eating my lunch with my hands. And it just wasn't received the way that I thought it would be, right? There was, I think there was curiosity there, but the way it manifested made me feel, that my uniqueness wasn't valued and that I wasn't understood for who I was as a person. So the research really brought that early memory to me in terms of our youngest learners. It's very important for them to all the way up till the day they leave our school halls.
Great, thank you for sharing that. Wow, starting at that early of an age, I think that's going to be a great educational moment for our listeners. Nandipa, does any of that connect with you and your experiences, either when you were starting out in school and all the way through to today?
Yes, I can resonate with my name. My name is not Western, so I definitely have conflicts with that. And people not being familiarized with my culture or my identity, because some of it is rooted in America and some of them is rooted in the Caribbean and South Africa. So I can resonate with that. But because of the way my personality is, I never took it as an opportunity to be ashamed of myself. I just took it as an opportunity to educate people about who I am and what I do and what that looks like.
Yeah. That's incredible. Thinking about that self-worth, because also in the research, actually, it says that it's not only a sense of identity that's built, it's that self-worth, right? And so that piece of it is really important to build a sense of belonging. We think of belonging as a community experience, which it is, but a lot of it too depends on how you feel about yourself. Self-esteem and belonging are very connected. And then we know there's a positive feedback loop between self-esteem and how you interact with others, and therefore what your success is in those various circles.
So Nandipa, Mujidat mentioned not being understood. Have you ever experienced that feeling?
I think I definitely have, because there's obviously perceptions about who I am just based off the way I look or maybe the way that I talk. But when people fail to understand who I am, I don't take it personally because I feel like that happens to everybody. But even though it might be more probable that it happens to me, I feel as if I'm given the space to create myself again and like build myself up. And honestly, I see it as a way to connect with the person more, because if somebody thinks they understand me, then why do they feel the need to get to know me more? And so I kind of use that in a way, like, especially here, like, because I came in the 9th grade, I mean, there's a lot of new kids around me, but I was super excited because no one knows me. So I'm able to create myself again. And yes, there are like structures put in place, because that's a wonderful thing about Kinkaid, is that it's built in a way to kind of take you by the hand and show you what you can do and how you can do it. And it's a really great support system. And because of that, I felt comfortable to just create myself again and like go through the process of figuring out who I am, especially as like a teenager. I feel like it's so important to kind of try out these different kind of clothes to figure out who you're going to be. And I was really given the space to do that at this school.
That's wonderful. So Nandipa, you mentioned things and opportunities here at Kinkaid, and I was thinking specifically of Belonging Week. And I'll kick over to you if I can, Mujidat, that we are just wrapping up Belonging Week here at Kinkaid,
Yep.
which was incredible. Maybe give our listeners a little high-level view of what Belonging Week is, how it works, and then love to hear a couple stories of how important that is to both of you and to the students here. How does that help facilitate kids finding a way to connect so they do feel understood and they do feel like they are part of something more than themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to unpack there. Before going into Belonging Week, sort of operationally, something Nandipa said really resonated with me in terms of the opportunity to connect with students and to have an opportunity to recreate herself every time she meets somebody. That's what I love about being part of an educational institution. You can certainly learn inside the classroom, but you can also learn outside of the classroom. And so the students are learning from each other as well. And so I think that is incredible in terms of how that fosters their development as well. So when we think about Belonging Week, and something else you said, Nandipa, resonated, the whole thing was just like I was nodding emphatically, right, as you were speaking. It was like, yes, I remember that. I remember that. You know, when we have our students here in these formative years, it is so, so important that we create infrastructure to be intentional to meet them at the places that they are. Right. And so, sure, the students are developing a sense of self, but what do we have in place to ensure that they are developing it in a way that is healthy and adaptive and will aid in their achievement and success? Belonging Week was actually a concept created by Erica Baker, who's our upper school director of student life. She created it in 2023. So we just wrapped up our 3rd annual Belonging Week, which is super exciting. And it's really an opportunity for our upper school students to get a chance to see where they can lead, contribute, and serve, right? That is our mission. That is Kinkaid's mission. So where can you be involved? And how does involvement aid in your sense of belonging, right? How does connection aid in your sense of belonging? So on Monday, there's not really an agenda. It's time for them to take photos with their friends, share some fun facts about themselves. What favorite shows do you have? What favorite snacks do you have? Just who are you outside of, you take history in D period and math in A period, right? So it's an opportunity there. And on Tuesday, we have the student leadership organizations as well as the student activity organizations. competitions. So that's an opportunity for students to see how they can contribute and how to have spaces that foster their interests, again, outside of the classroom, which is super important. On Wednesday is club fair, and that actually is probably our most popular one
Yes,
because
definitely.
not
Yes.
only do students have an opportunity to see how they can be involved, it's also an opportunity for them to see how they can lead in that, right? So we take suggestions in terms of what clubs our students want to start. So we are also giving them autonomy and independence in that manner. That's really wonderful. Please,
I
if you
noticed
could
when
say
that was
something.
taking place yesterday, it was packed.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was some
absolutely.
activity and some energy.
Yeah, it was filled. Being at Belonging Week, especially like as a freshman, I'd never seen anything like it before. I've never experienced a place where like you get to see all your opportunities from a bird's eye view and you get to interact with everyone before you even step into the room. And I think it's such a beautiful program and I can't wait to like be a senior and like meet the freshmen that are first like experiencing it as like I'm wrapping up my journey. But I think Belonging Week is such a great opportunity to, like I said before, try on a different like hat for everything you want to do. Like maybe you think, oh, I'll join SAC, like the athletic like council, but maybe you find some interest in like donations or find some interest in student diversity and leadership. Like it's really just an opportunity to see what you can do, and also it's a great way of like the school showing like reaching out like an olive branch, like we're here to support you, we're here to walk you through, like as I said, like being a freshman, like being really intimidated, like I'm going to this really great school, but like yes, like we also take into account like how you're going to fit in past academics and athletics and how we can better help you in that way.
That's wonderful. I was fascinated by the idea of students taking an active role in their peers.
This is a student-led school.
Yeah, developing a sense of belonging. Certainly adults, parents, teachers have a role, but how impactful it can be when a fellow student not only reaches out to you to be part of something, but to be a leader in an area. I mean, that's above, hey, would you like to be a friend?
Right.
So Nandipa, you are part of the Student Diversity Leadership Board. Can you tell us a little bit more about your role and then maybe the role of leadership groups all across Kinkaid?
Okay, so I'm a sophomore, so I joined Student Diversity Leadership Board this year. I learned about it my freshman year, and I was so excited because, yes, there's been spaces where it's like, oh, there's like Black Student Union or some type of like other group that you can be a part of. But I think what's so special about Student Diversity Leadership Board is that it's everybody. It's everybody from all places. Like it's people who are neurodivergent. It's people who come from different ethnic backgrounds, different nationalities, like all walks of life. And I think that's so beautiful. And what we do is we are the people that create the culture of acceptance in this school. We like proactively search for ways to make sure that everybody is included and feels welcome and is accommodated and is educated and understands what is going on in the outside world and how to apply it to school life. Because in Kinkaid, we're all rounders. We need to be well versed in everything that we encounter, and that's outside of athletics and academics. And I was so excited to join this board because I was so excited to be in a structured place where I could kind of like explore my passion, because my passion is like this is what I want to do in life. I want to make everyone feel seen. And I think that it's such a special opportunity to have. And it's led by Miss Shotonwa and Mr. Ravel. And mind me, who's the last?
We have Miss H also, Mrs.
Miss H.
Terrell, and Miss Lynn.
Yes. And they're wonderful. I love them to death. And they've definitely, like, I went in thinking, oh my gosh, I know all of this stuff. I experience all of this stuff. I'm great. But just sitting in the room, I was able to learn so much more about things that I haven't considered, and like really going into depth within myself and like applying it to how I see it in my friends or my teachers and how that might affect their daily life.
And that's a beautiful thing about leadership, right? Leadership is not knowing it all, is being able to know when you don't know everything as well. And so really emphasizing the idea that all of our leaders are lifelong learners and that they're here to learn from each other. But also, to lead means that if you have power, how do you empower others, right? And so it's a way to sort of model leadership to future students. So about 5 minutes ago or so, Nandipa mentioned like she cannot wait to be a senior, and that's what leadership is about. Going back to serve.
So with our topic of belonging, y'all have filled in so much information. I think our listeners maybe knew at a high level, but probably didn't know at a personal level.
Yes.
Yeah.
The tag at the end of that here at Kinkaid of how all of these initiatives actually pay off into academic success and physical and emotional well-being. Can you give us a little insight on that?
I sure can. It's my favorite thing to talk about, actually. I might need to come back. So a few things. I think I'd say two things. The first thing is that Kinkaid also, part of our mission is to look at the whole child, right? So we're not just looking at the child as a learner, but looking at the child as a person. And so when you think about what contributes to academic success, it's more than just how they are performing in the classroom. It's about, can they trust the people teaching them? And they learn to trust the people teaching them because the people teaching them know who they are, right? Do they feel healthily, what's the word I'm looking for? Do they feel healthily integrated into the social dynamics of the school? Do they have physical outlets, right? Do they have opportunities like we've been talking about in Belonging Week? Do they have opportunities to lead, to serve, and to learn? There's so many things that go into academic success that I think we're doing a really great job of looking at it holistically and putting it together in more spaces than one. And then the second thing that I say is that when we think about well-being, as we all know, well-being is probably one of the foremost contributors to how you are going to excel in any part of life, right? And so I started my training actually as a psychologist. I'm now a DEI practitioner, but I started as a psychologist, and a lot of my work revolved around, can you be well if you do not belong? And so that's always been a question that has followed me through my career. And I'm really excited right now, actually, because Dr. Lomax Bream and I, who is our Director of Wellbeing and Success here at Kinkaid, are really looking forward to integrating our work. So between well-being, between diversity, equity, inclusion, between belonging, and making sure that, again, we are looking at that whole child mindset and ensuring that our community is healthy for generations to come.
And I've experienced the effect of that because I feel as if I do better in my school, in my athletics, if I feel that the rest of me is secure. And I think Kinkaid provides that. Like, I don't have to worry about, what are people thinking? What are my teachers thinking about me, like socially? Because my teachers understand and they know and they're willing to talk and they're willing to create space. And it's not just like, because of Belonging Week, I have more to go than just the teachers I have on my schedule. Like, it's this open space. Like, I can go to the teacher that leads my affinity, or the teacher that sponsors my club, or someone that I'm interested in another light. Like, there are so many outlets to go because we have Belonging Week and because Kinkaid is so invested in making sure that everyone feels safe, because I think that's what belonging provides. It provides stability, it provides safety, it provides all these things that I think every teenager needs, and I especially have appreciated it.
Drops mic.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Mujidat, Nandipa, thank you for joining us. And thanks for sharing your personal stories on belonging and the payoff when an organization like Kinkaid puts effort, time, and energy into creating that type of space. So thanks for being on the show.
Of course.
Of course.
Thank you, Mike. It's a great thing
Thank
to
you
be
so
a
much
doctor.
for inviting me.
So that is a wrap. The Perch will return again next Friday with new conversations and stories about education, leadership, and community. Be sure to follow us on social media, check out Kinkaid's website, and read the Falcon Flyer for more on how Kinkaid supports our students and our community throughout the year. Thanks for joining us again on The Perch.